Well, in our second hour, lots for you to look forward to. We're going to be talking about millennials and money a bit later on in the show, but we're going to begin with talking about customer service excellence in Kenya today. But before I introduce my guest, let me share with you our inspirational word for the day. It says, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. I'll read that again. A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. And that's by Christopher Reeves. And I want to know, who is your hero today? Who would you be celebrating? Who is this person in your life that you think, just an ordinary individual like you and I, but somehow they have been able to find the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming circumstances and obstacles? Do let me know. 22999 is the SMS line, and I'd be more than happy to give them a shout out even as we continue celebrating Mashujaa Day today. With that said, let me introduce my guest. He goes by the name James Mwangamba, and he's the CEO of Breakthrough Performance. He's an international sales expert, a business coach, leadership trainer, and speaker. Karibu sana to the show.
Asante sana.
Good to have you here. Now,
Thanks.
Most of us are culprits of starting businesses, but never ever caring about how the person on the other side of the business, who actually happens to be the person you need the most, your customer, for your business to thrive. Okay, so how often do you check up on your customers? How do you know how well your staff is talking to your customers? And what does it take to have excellent customer service? Now, James, I've had experiences where maybe the CEO is a very nice person, very humble, and as the business grows, they leave their front office to someone else, and that person is just so rude, or they're not friendly, they just look like they don't want to be there, and it puts you off as a customer. And many times I've actually walked out of a place because I'm just like, Wakae bus. How important is customer service for one's business?
It's extremely important. I mean, I would say that customer service today is probably the only way to survive and thrive in the difficult economic challenging times that we do have. Now, how often do you check on your customers, as you asked here initially? I mean, you do that. You check on them as much as you possibly need to. I think what we don't understand most of the times is that our customers could be our biggest ambassadors and our, cheerleaders. Our customers could actually be our advertisers. If you serve them well, they're going to go out there and basically, by the word of mouth, share the information, and then automatically they will be able to bring more customers to your store, your premise, your business, or your company. So there's that disconnect between the people working in the front line and maybe the owners of the business or the leaders of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And then talk to us about the difference between customer service versus customer experience. Are they related? Are they different?
Yeah, so customer service is just a small part of the bigger picture. Yeah, as in just serving customers that come by being there for them. But when we talk about customer experience, is now the holistic view. Now you're talking about the entire journey of the customer with your business, So that's the difference. So whereas customer service is just a small part of it, customer experience is the entire journey that the customer does have with your business.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting. And as you're talking about customer service being so critical to one's business, it almost makes me think that sometimes I feel like for a lot of businesses, the person that they hire to sit at that front desk, the first point of contact, is such a last minute, like it's not even a thought, like they don't put that much consideration into it. We'll spend a lot of time thinking about our COO and our CFOs and our HR person, but it sounds like as much attention as you pay to those guys, I would be paying a lot of attention to the person that my customers see when they first walk into the door.
That's right.
The person that they're going to speak to the most.
Right.
What would you say would be some of the best qualities or the qualities that that person absolutely has to have?
Yeah, so I've thought a lot about this question and that reality that, how come a company would spend so much, like on every front, sales and marketing, in the stock and inventory and leadership, training, and everything, and pay so little attention on the person who is actually the face of your company. Again, as I said, there's a big disconnect. But real quickly, I think some of the qualities that the person interfacing with customers needs to have, first, they need to be extroverted. So I think you understand there's a difference between a person being an extrovert and an introvert. So an extrovert is a person who thrives off being around other people. I mean, they get their energy by hanging around other people. They are talkative, they are active, they are gregarious. They love hanging around other people, because customer service means that you're going to be talking to a lot of people. So if you're not extroverted, we have a huge problem right there. And I've seen quite a lot of places I've gone, even, all around the world, because I've been able to travel to about 22 countries right now. You'd find that the person who is the most introverted, a very shy person, a person who wants to be by themselves, is the person who's actually facing customers. What a big mistake. So I would begin by saying extroversion, one. Okay. Then two, conscientiousness. So we're talking about the ability to work diligently, and to be able to follow thoroughly. Because customer service is all about following on customers, making sure that you have met their needs and even exceeded them. Right. So if you're not conscientious, it becomes very difficult to excel. So I would say those two are probably the biggest ones.
Okay. Right. Okay. What do you guys think, a person at the front desk needs to have, the person that your customers are going to see first? Of course, we've seen all sorts of memes here in Kenya from mobile money agents, and there's a very famous one. Hopefully we'll have him on the show sometime. But, mobile money agents in particular have gained quite a reputation here in Kenya, that they've become memes. And I'd love to know what you guys think about, the sort of qualities that one needs to have good customer service for their business. And the truth is, a lot of Kenyans will not be employing people just because their businesses maybe haven't grown to that point. Right. But I think, so even for the person who are doing service industries, or you're also trying to, maybe you're the teller, you're the person doing the cooking, you're the person selling, even you need to master those qualities.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And here's a problem. There are people who might be listening or watching us right now, and they might say like, that's for the customer service department.
Yeah.
That's for the people working in the customer service center or the call center. No, this is for almost every individual. As long as you are working, you are giving service either as an employee or as a service provider of any sort, entrepreneur, you must master this skill. Because otherwise you will not get to the fullest potential of whatever it is that you're doing. And even when you say, well, I'm just working in the back office, I'm an accountant, I'm a procurement person. No, you also have internal customers, because customers are both external and internal. So externals are those that buy from us, but internal are those that we work with in our organizations. And even when you're an individual player, you still need to master customer service, because you still need to provide care for your clients.
All right. So let's talk about an issue that often arises where a customer is not very happy with a service, right? Or something has gone wrong somewhere, or maybe you tell them, I'm sorry, we can't do this for you right now. And the customer will flare up and they'll be very upset. How do you handle that and still maintain your integrity and still maintain that good customer service practice?
Right. Yeah, I think the most important thing in any interaction with the customer when they become disgruntled or unhappy is to remain in control. And I've seen a lot of people, they lose it. The customer just like does all these things because they are angry, and people lose control, and then there's a back and forth of verbal combat and all of that. So keep cool, stay grounded, be in control fully. That's the first principle.
That's not the time to start saying, si nimesha kuambia hakuna, kwani unataka nifanye nini? Don't do that. You will wreck your business.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, no one leaves their home coming to your store thinking that they're going to cause mayhem.
Right.
No. Usually it's something that happens along the way that triggers them and makes them angry. So stay in control. And then number two, always remember the customer is always right. Now, I know that's it's not true. The customer is never always right.
Yeah.
But for the sake of the business and the peace and tranquility that we need, you need to have that mindset, you know, that they've come to patronize my business. They're bringing me revenues.
Yeah.
So I've got to cool and humble myself.
Right.
So the customer is always right. Then find ways to solve what it is that they are complaining about.
Yeah.
Apologize, say I'm sorry, you know, as much as possible.
Yeah.
And if the situation gets out of hand and you realize you cannot handle the situation, you probably need to involve someone else that's a little superior. You might want to say, well, do you mind if I bring my boss or my manager? Maybe they can have a better handle of this situation. Yeah.
And I think it's important to always try and find a solution for the customer.
Always, always. And it takes a little bit of thinking, listening, you know, empathy, putting yourself in their shoes. Because, you know, if a customer is complaining because maybe the food that they ate has not been great, maybe you can put yourself in their shoes. Like, what if it was me here in this situation? How, you know, would I feel? So empathy, I think, is the greatest factor when it comes to solving customers' problems.
Right. Absolutely. And, you know, it reminds me of a time I was at a leadership summit once, and he was basically the head of, you know, a very humongous international chain of 5-star hotels. Right. And he was saying how for him in his company, in that hotel chain, in that hotel brand, it is mandatory that all of their staff, from the janitors to their CFO, are trained on that customer service element.
That's
because right. So he even empowers their staff,
yeah.
so that if you're the guy, you know, say you're a porter in the hallway, and a customer comes out of their hotel room saying, my TV is not working, the porter will not say, Miss Sijui, hiyo si kazi yangu. He will say, I will find you a solution. He's empowered the staff to be able to say, I will find a solution for you.
Absolutely.
And in fact, here, you can have lunch on the house because of that inconvenience. And I just thought that was very powerful.
We call that autonomy. You give employees autonomy, some decision-making powers. Okay, of course you give them a range, for example, of spending. Yes. Let's say if a customer if something breaks in the room, let's say the TV or the iron bar, and then you authorize them, you say, okay, as long as the purchasing may not exceed, let's say, 20,000 Kenya shillings, you can authorize, you can just purchase it quickly and do a replacement.
Yeah.
You know, I remember I had a funny experience, rather, when I went to the USA in 2012. I stayed in one hotel, 4-star, I'll not mention what it is. And then one morning as I was leaving, the AC broke down. You know, there was a problem in the air conditioner. And it started, you know, dripping down some droplets, small drops of water. And for me, I was like, okay, this is not a big deal. Okay, I just left knowing that when I came back in the evening, maybe they would have sorted it out. And when I came back in the evening, lo and behold, on my bed, I saw like an envelope, a golden envelope, you know, and I was like, okay, who has sent me a letter all the way to the U.S.? So when I opened up the letter, it said, Dear James, we are very sorry and apologetic for what happened in the morning. You know, the disturbances you had because of the breakdown of the air conditioner. Now we are inviting you to a free buffet dinner tonight, and you can enjoy yourself, indulge yourself, eat as much as you possibly can. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And when I went there...
Always make amends.
Yeah. Because I traveled with my sister. She also had the same problem, and we both went to the dinner, and she said, oh, this is great. I wish the AC breaks down again tomorrow so that we get a free dinner again tomorrow.
And the thing is, when you pay that much attention to your customer and you honor them and you value them for taking their time to come to your store,
absolutely,
you build loyalty, which everybody wants to have.
Very true.
You want return customers. That's where the money's at.
Absolutely. You know, there's a research that is happening right now by a company called New Voice Media. These guys are from UK. They have established that businesses every year lose at least about $75 billion, you know, on a global level. And this money is lost because customers would want to come to your place to spend, and they would come. Yeah. But because of bad customer service, they wouldn't come back again. Or I come to your restaurant, I've eaten dinner, and I want to order dessert or wine or whatever it is that I would like to have. But because of poor customer service, I end up not spending any more money. So much is lost. Here in East Africa and Africa as a whole,
Yeah.
we lose so much revenues.
Absolutely. And if
because
you're
of
not the
poor
one
customer
running the
service.
business, but you're in the service industry, so particularly if you are, say, a server or a waiter or waitress, customer service absolutely important for you, because that's how you get your tips. So you want to be so kind. You need to be kind to, I know plenty of people who refuse to give tips just because they didn't enjoy the service that they gave.
Of
And you
course.
can miss out on a big paycheck, because there are people who can drop some coins on a tip.
That is funny but true.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, James, for coming through. I think we can conclude this just by saying customer service is so essential, and it begins with everything, even as small as just a smile. You know, have a friendly face, welcome your person to your space, and thank them for coming over. You'd be surprised at how far that would take you.
You know, it's interesting that several times we've gone to train companies here in Kenya, like Top Quality Motors and Wilstone Homes and others. We have literally taught them, learn to smile. Like every morning, walk over to a mirror, look yourself into the mirror and smile.
Yeah.
You know, let these jawbones get
Takes
used
less
to
muscles
smiling.
than frowning too.
It's really important
Absolutely.
for customer service.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, James, for your time. We do appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we're going to take a short break right now. But when we come back, we're going to be talking about millennials and their money. Hey, my young Turks, how is it that you guys are using your money? But just before I do, let me read some final comments here. Irene Kendi says customer care needs to be polite, social, and also have respect. SK Musao says, I got into a situation at, I won't mention the supermarket store in Machakos, after I was double charged on an item last weekend. On reporting to a supervisor and the teller, they got involved and they refunded the money and apologized. And see, you'll be more inclined to shop there once again. So asanteni sana for your feedback on that topic. Stay tuned. I'll be back shortly.